Hi, welcome back to my channel, Cozy Comfy Crochet. My name is Erin, and today I'm going to be going over 5 free patterns that I found either on Instagram or Pinterest and kind of just reviewing them and rating them. I decided to judge them on a scale of 0 to 10, and then I averaged out a total, so I'll give that all when I'm talking about each pattern. Okay, disclaimer, I did make the whale. It's on here. I have it rated and everything. I just don't have the whale currently in front of me to show you the finished product. My son has claimed it as his own, and it is now somewhere within the 4 walls of this house. So I do apologize not having the actual item to show you. I have a picture of it on my thumbnail, and then I think a couple of videos of it in random places. But I did make it. I did. I will also kind of be looking to the side at my other screen. I have my notes written down. I went through most of these patterns about a week and a half ago, so there's been some time, there's been some sleep between when I completed them to now, so I'm a little fuzzy on some of the stuff, but I did take notes. I did write down my thoughts as I was creating them and making them, and yeah, so we will just jump right into it. The first one is Patty the Platypus from Not Too Shabby Crochet, and of course I will have everything linked below, so if you look at a particular, crochet item and you think you want to make it for yourself, I will have it linked so that way you can just click whichever one you're interested in and go from there. So this is Patty. I liked Patty. Patty was good. Initially rated the pattern ease a 10, so the pattern was easy to read and understand. Like, I didn't really have any questions about the terms, the terminology that was used. Visuals, however, were a 5. There were not many pictures. I think there were 3 total, and they were all from kind of like angles like this, so it didn't show too much. Like, from the underside would have been helpful. Cuteness, definitely a 10, adorable. And would I recommend this pattern to somebody else? Yes, I would, and I ranked that an 8. So overall, the average for the platypus was an 8.25. Very beginner friendly, basic easy terminology. I wasn't a big fan of the sewing. I'm not a big fan of the sewing in general when it comes to crochet. Like, if I'm sewing, I want to be sewing. I don't want to be sewing and crocheting. I didn't mind it though for this particular pattern. It wasn't too bad. Again, just trying to really guess where the feet were supposed to go and the tail and the bill. That was a little frustrating, but again, not too difficult. I would make Patty again. Next is the little Dino, and I want to say it's from Toffoletta. I might be mispronouncing that. It is not originally in English, so it has been translated to English. However, I did not find that to be any issue. Let's see, pattern ease was a 7. It wasn't hard to understand. It was pretty easy. I was able to figure it out. I've been crocheting for about 6 months, so not a long time. I still consider myself a beginner. And if I'm able to figure it out, then I'm certain most other people are going to be able to figure it out too. There was a little bit of sewing, but it was not terrible. The arms were attached with the crochet hook, so that these weren't even sewn, which was nice. It was just this little, I guess, frill spike part and the tail portion that were sewn, which was not terrible. Helpful visuals was a 4. There weren't, again, it's like the platypus. There weren't very many pictures. There were maybe 4 total. Cuteness, 10 out of 10 for sure. I would definitely make this one again. Recommend it, 10 out of 10. It was easy. Like, this was just a good, easy pattern. The only thing that was like a little frustrating was like trying to make sure that I pinned the frill spike portion, straight as I could. So its average was a 7.75. Handmade by Ani, which is another creator. I think I'm saying her name right. I might also be mispronouncing that. Has a similar pattern, which I've also done. I don't currently have one next to me. I think I've given them all away. This pattern reminded me a lot of it. So I really liked this Dino pattern. I think it might have been a little easier because I was going into it with the mindset of I've done something almost exactly like this before, but it's still very different. I think my favorite part of this are the little arm nubbins. I think it's super cute, and I really liked the colors. I just think they're good together. Very beginner friendly. again, even being translated from its original language, which was very nice. I was pleasantly surprised. I wasn't sure how it was going to go. Next up is this little teeny tiny octopus by Wandering Deer, and I follow her on Instagram. I've actually saved a few of her like little mini crochet patterns. I love them, like especially her free ones. They're just so cute, and they're quick and easy. And I have another one in a blue for my son as well, because of course he's very into like ocean animals right now. He watches Wildcrafts on PBS and he loves it. So anytime we're going through, he'll be like, water, water, water. And I'm like, okay. So I've tried to do a few ocean sea creatures, and it's one that he really likes. Let's see. Pattern ease, an 8. There's really not much to it. I mean, on a little Instagram post, I think it was like 2 pages. So if you go and look for it, you'll see what I'm talking about. Not very many rounds at all. The visuals, I put a 4. It's not that the pattern really needs visuals. There were just a few, which was enough. It was perfect for this pattern. The cuteness, a 10 for sure, because it's just so teeny tiny, and it's no-sew. Would I recommend it? Yes, an 8 on a scale of 0 to 10, and the average was a 7.5. Again, my notes for this were, it's a very cute pattern. I love the finished product. Definitely beginner friendly. Make sure you know your basic stitches, and working in back loops and front loops, which will kind of lead into the next pattern that I'll be talking about as well. Or should I say as a whale? Ha ha ha. So I don't actually have the whale in front of me. The whale is a pattern from Stitch by Faye. It is a no-sew pattern. I rated it an easy pattern, so an 8. Helpful visuals. It was one that also did not have very many. It had like maybe 4 pictures, hardly any photos. So that made it a little difficult for when reading some of the pattern, trying to visualize where she was wanting certain stitches placed. Cuteness, for sure, an 8 based on the picture. And would I recommend it? Yes, a 7 out of 10, I would recommend it. Its average ended up being the lowest at a 6.75. And I don't know if it was just I wasn't feeling the pattern when I was making it. Would I go back and remake it? Yes, I would. However, again, right now I've got other projects that I'm more interested in. There is a premium pattern available for purchase with more step-by-step pics. So I know I could have gotten those photos. We're just trying to like save a little bit of money right now. So I didn't purchase it. However, the pattern as it is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I just am a more visual learner, and I just didn't pay for that. Because I also still wasn't too bad without purchasing the premium pattern. So if you're wanting to do it, go for it. By no means was it difficult. Again, I was able to achieve it. My stitch count got a little wonky even with using a stitch marker, but that just could have been because it was a really busy day with the kids. I could have been distracted. Any number of reasons that, could not have been, might not have been related to this particular pattern at all. I just ended up rating it low just because of my personal experience with it, but it still turned out adorable. I would make it again. And to our final pattern, which I think you'll be able to tell from the thumbnail. It is the one that I remade the most within this last week. I think I made 5. It is the mini Triceratops pattern from Louie's Loops. And oh my goodness, this was so easy. I would have considered it low sew, no sew, because there's technically not any sewing going on. You crochet a couple little horns, and I think you could sew them in. I just used the needle to thread it through, and then I knotted them in the back 3 times each, and then just snipped the tail along, so hopefully it doesn't come undone. I'm not selling these, so I'm not too worried about doing what I did. If I were selling them, I might try to find a way to secure them better. However, I didn't for these. Pattern ease, a 7. Helpful visuals, 10 out of 10. Oh my gosh, there was a video, everything was explained. They were on a specific website, which will be linked to it down below, where you can go through and it's got like little check boxes, because normally what I do when I'm following a pattern is I'll put it into Google Home or Google Drive, and then I go through, put it in a Google Doc, and then I put like a little check mark thing next to it, because you can do that. So as I'm going row by row, I'm able to check row by row, because if I get distracted or if a kid calls me, I want to be able to make sure like I know exactly where I left off, or I will be repeating rows constantly or losing my spot and just skipping stuff. So helpful visuals, absolutely wonderful. I could not recommend it enough. Cuteness was a 10. Actually recommended it as an 8. Some stuff I'll explain in my notes, but definitely I would make this for sure. I mean, I made them 5 times over again. I would make them 5 times more, just on and on. Its average ended up being an 8.75, which I think was one of the highest. So on to my notes and why I didn't recommend it as a 10 out of 10 in my notes, even though I would verbally be like, yes, you should do it. I mean, if I'm going to be talking to somebody just kind of in passing, I don't know that I would give them my breakdown quite like this. I would just be like, yes, you should do it. This is just more for y'all who really want to know my exact thoughts. And you may not care. I don't know. So most of the terms were explained. Everything was explained. There were videos. However, when it got to the frill, I had to watch the video and I had to Google because it didn't reference like what a mini picot or picot, I'm not sure how you say that, stitch is. And it kept saying MP, and I'm like, what is MP? And so I had to Google it and look it up, which was fine. I've got a computer, I live in the modern world, and I'm fortunate to have, that available to me to where I can look it up. But what was weird to me was that all the other terms and things were explained, and maybe I'm just blind and completely missed where it was explained, which is also totally possible. I'll put that disclaimer there, that it could have just been super busy. But I've made this pattern like 5 times, and I had to watch the video to have it explained to me, which nothing wrong with that. That's what the video is there for, to help, which was wonderful. Like, I love that. That was great. But all the other terms, again, were mentioned and kind of explained. So as I was going back and trying to find what the MP could have stood for, I was like, what is this? So Googling it and kind of having to be taken out of the pattern as I'm making it, and feeling like I'm on a roll, it was a little like, that's why I didn't rate it like a 10 out of 10. But still, very high rating. So as it stands, these are all of my finished products for the time being, minus the whale, because I think my son currently has that with him for nap time, quiet time, or it's somewhere in this house. Would I make all these again? Yes, absolutely. That's the biggest takeaway. However, you can pick and choose what you want based on your skill level. I'd say that these are all pretty beginner, easy, friendly. So for sure, check them out if you're interested. Thanks for watching the video. I enjoyed making these, probably more than I enjoyed making the video, but I just thought I would share my thoughts on some of this. Sometimes you see a pattern and you think, would I want to make that? Would it be interesting? And what does the finished product look like? That someone who is not a professional, as they make it, what is it going to look like? Probably more realistically. And well, this is what you get. But yeah, thanks for watching. I enjoyed it all, and I hope to see you again next time.